The Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to jamiapsmedia.com. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, the ultimate weekly entertainment recap and review show. My name is Jamie Apps, and each week I'll be joined by a rotating cast of co-hosts to run you through the entertainment media we've consumed during the week. Along the way, we'll provide you with insightful commentary and reviews. This week I'm joined by a teacher who lists their favourite movie as the entire Harry Potter series and favourite TV show as Parks and Rec. Welcome back to the show and Happy New Year, Leigha Poulton.
Happy New Year to you. Happy to be here.
Did you get up to much exciting things over the break?
Not really just yet. I mean, I'm still on a big break, which is nice. But our New Year's plans definitely changed after the case came to Wollongong. So we just had a quiet one at home.
Were you in Wollongong? Did you go to the mall when the person apparently did?
No. I actually checked my bank statement and went, oh, good, I wasn't there. I was at Shore Harbour.
Okay, yeah, lucky.
Yeah, so I got lucky, but yeah, pretty scary.
Yeah, it's a little bit too close for comfort now.
Yeah. And that one in Sydney, the guy that had it at the liquor store.
Yeah, that one's...
How crazy is that?
That one's going crazy, so that's a bit worrying, but... I'm lucky. I don't have to follow the restrictions like you do. Your mandatory masks, only 5 people at your house.
Yep.
Fun times.
That's not a bad thing. I'd rather have just 5 at my house. It's chill. Masks, that's okay. I've already prepared for that. And you know what? You got to do what you got to do. So you just do it.
Yep. Yeah, like I'm already wearing a mask pretty much everywhere, so it's not a huge issue for me. And I guess it's better to have it and be prepared. And there's been people all over Facebook at the last couple of days being like, where can I buy masks from? I'm like, how did you not already have one?
I know a lot of people, I think yesterday, like I went into town yesterday because yesterday was the grace period. I think a lot of people were going shopping to buy a mask.
Yep.
So
has it still been busy in the mall and everything?
No, it's like a ghost town.
Good, that's what we want.
Yeah. Hopefully people will do the right thing, although you still get the crazies on, oh, this is a hoax, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I saw Cameron posted something today, some protest march in Sydney about wearing masks. So,
and they're all maskless chanting. Smart.
Yep. Have fun with your COVID later.
Exactly.
So outside of being stuck at home, what have you been watching while there?
To be honest, I did a full throwback. Sean and I have been watching The Vampire Diaries.
Ooh, an oldie?
A very oldie, and I've never seen it.
Oh, wow. I thought it was a rewatch when you told me that's what you were watching. Oh.
No.
Interesting.
I haven't watched it ever because I thought it was too scary at the time when it was out, which was, ages ago. And I went, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go because everyone keeps saying it's good and I'll just try it. And anyway, Sean and I are like deep in there.
Are you now realising it's not scary at all?
Yeah, it's not scary at all. It's fine.
Just because it had vampire in it, you're like, nah, that's going to be a scary show.
Yeah, definitely. And we're into season 3 now and I've changed. I thought I was team Stefan, but turns out I think I'm team Damon at the moment. I don't know.
I'm getting Vampire Diaries and True Blood mixed up there. I was very confused there for a second. Are you enjoying the show? Obviously you are if you're 3 seasons in.
It's so complicated. I just didn't realize like the different storylines. Like every episode, there's not an episode where you just go, okay, bored. Do you know what I mean? There's always something going on.
Yep.
And I'm like, I wonder who wrote this. Like they're obviously really smart in like interconnecting all the different stories. And at one time I was a bit hungover after New Year's, and I fell asleep and I woke up and so many things had happened that I was like, oh no, I've got to go back. So you can't really like miss something, but it was like, yeah, it's really good.
How many seasons are there?
8.
There's a few, isn't there? Yeah.
And they're like 22 episodes per season, and I've just finished season 3. So I've got a long way to go.
Yeah, wow, that's a big one. 22 episodes a season. That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially because they're not like half-hour episodes. They're an hour.
Yeah, 45 to 50 minutes, I think it is.
Yeah, that's full on. Usually when you see 22 episodes, it's something like Big Bang Theory where it's only a half hour.
Yeah, exactly. And because your brain has to work, I'm like, oh, I forgot who that person is, or I just don't understand. And then I kept asking Sean, and he's like, I don't know, I've watched the same thing as you. So it's been good, though. Like, it's been a good watch. I've been definitely enjoying it, although the gore is a little bit much sometimes. Or the blood. Ugh.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and then I drink red wine, and I'm like, oh, God.
Just grossing yourself out looking down at the glass.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I understand, like, someone said that there's like some spin-off show too that you can watch at the same time.
Oh.
I can't remember what it's called.
I did not know about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Although a lot of people have said, like I talked to about it, have said they got to like season 5 and season 6 and then kind of weaned off it. So I wonder how we'll go.
Yeah, 8 does seem like a lot for the bits and pieces I remember of that show.
Yeah. And Sean's in this like hate relationship with Elena, the main character at the moment.
Okay, why?
He's like, I hate her because she just can't make up her mind. Just figure it out.
That's fair. She is a bit all over the shop.
Yes. So anyway, I've heard that you go from like Team Stefan and then you go to Team Damon and then you go back and forth. So it's interesting to see if I'll change my mind again.
Do you think when you finish that you'll move on to something like True Blood and stay on the vampire binge?
No, I think I'll probably have to have a break after that.
That's fair.
I'm not really into supernatural stuff, but I've been enjoying it, which was a surprise.
Yeah, I guess because the series is more focused on that love triangle than...
Yeah.
The supernatural stuff is just...
a byproduct, really.
And yeah, speaking of blood and craziness, Lauren and I have just started... It's a rewatch for me, but it's her first time watching Dexter.
Oh, wow. How's she finding it?
Well, we've watched 2 seasons in 2 weekends, so I'm pretty sure she's enjoying it, and those first 2 seasons are awesome, so it's pretty easy to see why we're enjoying it so much. It'll be interesting to see how she goes once we sort of get into those later seasons that aren't as highly regarded.
Yeah, I can't really remember the last couple of seasons. I don't know if we weaned off those 2, but it's a good show, although it's inspired many true life murders.
Yes, I was actually doing some research on that, and there have been 5 or 6 that have been linked back as being inspired by Dexter.
Yeah.
It was 2009, 17-year-old Andrew Conley said he was inspired by the show to strangle his 10-year-old brother because he feels just like Dexter.
Yeah.
And then in 2010, a 21-year-old Swedish woman killed her 49-year-old father by stabbing him in the heart, just as Dexter does. 2011, Mark Twitchell was convicted of the planned and deliberate murder of 38-year-old Johnny Altinger after being inspired by Dexter. A British teenager, Stephen Miles, who was 17 at the time, was sentenced to 25 years in prison in 2014 after he stabbed and dismembered his girlfriend, who was 17.
That's the one that I've been reading about.
Yeah, like, just crazy.
He has red hair like Dexter too.
Yeah, like he fully followed the Dexter notebook, like dismembered her, wrapped her in plastic wrap, cleaned up the crime scene.
Yep.
Just nuts.
Crazy.
But yeah, what inspired me to go back and want to rewatch it, like, obviously Lauren had never seen it before, but I initially wanted to go back and rewatch it anyway because in October last year they announced that they're bringing the series back for a 10-episode run.
Oh, interesting.
So Michael C. Hall is going to come back to play Dexter again. They've got Clyde Phillips as a returning showrunner.
Okay.
And essentially what they've said is they're coming back to fix the issues that people have had with that final season and how the series ended.
Okay.
Because, in my opinion, that the ending was rubbish. They ruined what was an awesome series of seasons. The last couple were a bit looser than the first, not quite as tight, but the last episode on that last season was terrible.
I seem to remember there being a big uproar about that at the time.
Yep, yeah, so there was this like big hurricane coming through Miami. Dexter was on the verge of being caught, goes out on his boat in the hurricane, and the boat washes up on the shore, so they assume that he's died, and then at the end it cuts to him being in like the Pacific Northwest, up in Oregon somewhere, working as a lumberjack, so he somehow survived being in the water during a hurricane or whatever, and it was like, oh, that doesn't seem plausible.
Yeah, right.
So they kind of ruined that. One of the ideas that I read after it came out was what they should have done is have the end scene be him actually waking up or opening his eyes while he's laying on the execution table. So he's being caught, and like as he opens his eyes, that's when he passes away. And it's essentially what the series is him recalling and having like a flashback of his entire life just before he dies.
Right.
And that like is a very definitive ending. Like he's definitely dead, but it's also, that feels more plausible than he somehow survived being in the water during a hurricane
and is living a different life.
So
yeah.
I'm excited to see it come back.
See if that one comes true
and see how they fix it. Very grim watching over the holidays, which is very weird.
Yeah.
I also watched the 4-part documentary series The Ripper on Netflix.
I watched that today. I watched some of it today.
What are you thinking of it?
Oh, look, I was kind of doing schoolwork as I was watching, so I wasn't really deep into it. It's interesting. One thing that I will say first and foremost is the way that they say prostitutes over and over and over. It irritates me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the correct terminology should be sex worker. And that just got me. But it was an interesting watch for sure. Also, the interesting take on women.
Yep.
And their role, like, in that whole thing of how they're saying, oh, they were wayward women that got murdered. Like, we don't have the attention, or won't give them the attention that they deserve.
Yeah.
That was interesting to watch too.
Yeah, so how far into it did you get?
I watched the first 2 episodes, and I kind of watched a little bit of the third, but I definitely wasn't actually watching.
Okay, yep. Yeah, it's in those last sort of 2 episodes where it does sort of shift tone a little bit.
Okay.
In those first 2 episodes, it's more focusing on how the police investigated it and the mistakes them and the media made in terms of how they treated the case.
Yeah.
So obviously in those first 2 episodes, they're really quick to just cast the victims as prostitutes or sex workers. And because they've done that, they've sort of been blinded to some of the vital clues, and they go following dead-end leads for no reason.
Yeah.
And that was both the police and the media at the same time. They were all just focusing on that one thing, and it took a female journalist to come along and be like, hang on a second, why are we treating these women like this? And that's when the series sort of takes a more feminist slant.
Go her. Woohoo!
So that's when it actually becomes a sort of refreshing take on this style of documentary when it does that, because it focuses more on, hang on a second, maybe we should be treating women equal, which is...
Good, I'm glad. Maybe I'll keep watching now.
Yeah, and that's when it gets interesting, and that's when they start to... Once they take that fresh approach and look at it in a different light, that's when they start to find all these leads that lead them to Peter Sutcliffe, who is responsible for killing 13 women between 1975 and 1980.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is they were so close to catching him multiple times, but because they were following these ideas that this person was a prostitute killer and nothing else, they missed clues that would have led them straight to him.
Right. Interesting. One of the things that I found so interesting was all the people that were just calling up and saying, my boyfriend did it, if they had a fight with their boyfriend, or my husband did it. And then they had all these bits of paper and they had to reinforce the floor. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Because of all the paperwork, it was so heavy. They had to, reinforce the floor.
Yeah.
I found that interesting. Obviously, times have changed now, but...
Yeah, everything a bit digital now, but it's good that they were getting all those tips, but obviously because it was following wrong leads, they were never getting the right tips.
Yeah.
And it gave people a false sense of security too, because everybody thought it was only prostitutes, everyone else is safe, and it's like, not so much.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting watch. Nice 4-part doco. I liked that it was only 4 parts and didn't try to extend out into 8, because towards the end it does get to like the point where you're like, okay, let's just wrap this up and solve this case now. I've watched another kind of dark one. Over on Foxtel, I watched The Flight Attendant, starring Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory.
Okay. I've never seen her in anything else.
Yeah, so it's a nice, different take for her. So instead of being just this bright, bubbly person on The Big Bang Theory, she plays Casey Bowden, a flight attendant. She's pretty much an alcoholic.
Okay.
And she wakes up in a Bangkok hotel room next to the body of a dead man whose throat has been slit. She met him on the flight to Bangkok and then spent the night with him. And then the series follows the chaos that follows and the fallout of that moment, which is in the very opening scenes of the show.
Wow.
And it's a fun's probably not the right word for a show that focuses on the gruesome murder, but it's a nice twist for her to see her in that new role in an 8-part thriller.
Okay.
Lots of twists and turns, lots of conspiracy things that are uncovered throughout the series. She's great in the role, probably equal to what she is in Big Bang Theory.
Yep.
She does a good job of sort of injecting levity as well. It's not constantly dark and brooding. There's her just being a silly alcoholic or doing weird things. Like, you fool. Like, why are you doing that?
That's good.
And yeah,
I don't like ones that are just constantly dark. You need the ups and downs to get engrossed in what they're doing.
Yep, yeah, like she's constantly doing stuff where like, why would you do that? You're just making things worse for yourself. And
yeah,
they do that in a kind of funny way, which is nice. It stops it being 8 episodes of just feeling horrible. So if you've got Binge or Foxtel, I would highly recommend giving that one a watch. It's a nice change of pace. Is there anything else you watched, or are we going to jump into something lighter that I checked out as well?
To be honest, I've just been so engrossed in Vampire Diaries. Although I'm still watching my trash TV, like the Southern Charm. I'm still involved in that. I'm up to the last season now.
I was going to say, that's still going.
Yeah. It's on season 7, so I'm deep in that. And I just realised that they did Southern Charm, Carol, like some other place. I was like, oh. But I tried to give that a watch and I found them boring, so I didn't watch any more of it.
Okay, so it's like when the Hills and those sort of things do the spin-off shows.
Ones, and it was not good, so don't recommend that. And the only other thing I've been watching is My Real Housewives.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me. You've been watching that.
No, I saw someone, she put on a dog mask, like her dog had a mask.
What?
To walk around.
Like a COVID type mask?
Yes.
Oh my God, people are weird.
They ought to get one for Piper.
Piper doesn't need one. She can't breathe through her nose as it is.
Yes, that is true.
She'll suffocate.
Yeah. No, but I really have been just like Vampire Diaries. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Like, I sort of watched those flight attendant and Ripper stuff when Lauren wasn't here, but then while she was here during the holidays, it was just like, Dexter. That's how we managed to get through those first 2 seasons so quickly.
Which I guess is like why they're considered such good seasons. Like if you want to keep going back to it, obviously it's good.
Yeah, like, and especially those first two seasons where it's the ice truck killer and then...
Oh, the one where is his father? That's the ice truck killer, right?
The ice truck killer is his brother.
Okay, who's the one with the old man? And he's the family man. Oh, it kills me.
I think that's season 3 or 4.
He is creepy.
Yes.
I cannot get over how creepy he is.
Yeah, so season 1 is the ice truck killer, which turns out to be Dexter's brother.
Right.
And season 2 is the Bay Harbor Butcher, which is actually Dexter, but he's trying to cover his tracks and does so successfully. But
yeah,
there's a lot of fallout during that as well. And then, yeah, as a bit of an uplifting one towards the end, which is strange to say when this movie focuses on death.
Right.
But it's the latest Pixar movie starring Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey called Soul.
Okay. I love Tina Fey.
Okay, yep. Nice. So I think you would enjoy this then because she's sort of a central figure in the movie.
Okay.
It follows a middle-aged music teacher who, just as he gets his big break, got a gig as a jazz musician with this big performer, just sort of as the piano player for her during her concert. Her piano player is away, so he has to fill in. And just as he gets this big break, he dies.
Oh. So
then the movie follows him on his quest to get back from the afterlife back to his body so that he can live this moment that he's sort of been building his life to. And then the movie sort of, because of that, centers around sort of the big question in life of what is the meaning and purpose of life.
Right.
So the only way that he can get back to being in his body is by guiding Tina Fey's character, who is an unborn soul that just needs to find the spark or her purpose in life to get the last slot on her ticket to then be born.
Okay.
And then because of that, like, you just see like how people, the enjoyment that people get from certain things, and it just focuses on them living and going backwards and forwards and stuff like that. So the music is awesome. The themes of the film are very sort of deep, but it didn't connect with me as much as Inside Out and Up did, which was a bit disappointing.
I cried in Up.
Yes, and Inside Out sort of really makes you think about your emotions a bit more as well.
Yeah.
This one, just didn't quite catch me. It was a bit... I'm not sure why. It just didn't for some reason. Like, I know there's been lots of people saying it's incredible. There's also been some controversy in it as well because Tina Fey, obviously a white woman, they get sent back to Earth, but they swap. Instead of Jamie Foxx going back into his body, Tina Fey goes into his body and Jamie Foxx ends up in the body of a cat.
Oh.
So the controversy is that they've made this whole movie about a black central character.
Yeah, and soul music and...
Yep, and then it just instantly swaps and it's a white woman in a black man's body. It's like, hang on a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't an issue for me, but yeah, there's controversy around that. Certainly has you contemplate the meaning of life, but yeah, like I said, it just didn't connect with me as much as those other two movies did. I think maybe for some people it will connect more. There have been lots of reviews that saying it's one of the best Pixar films ever, but yeah, for me, not quite as much. So,
oh wow,
I think it's worth still watching, and yeah, just depends on whether it hooks you or not.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a nice quick one. What is your top recommendation for the week, though?
Taking it back, guys. Go back to Vampire Diaries.
Nice. We'll have to follow up and see how many you get through before the next episode.
Yeah.
Whether you slowly turn yourself off wine.
Yes. That won't happen.
You might have to switch to white wine for a little while.
I don't mind a white wine, but not for like a nighttime in your house by yourself. But well, not by yourself, with your husband. I'd rather have white wine's like a summer outdoor drink. Red wine's like sit on the couch.
Okay. But it's summer, Leah. It's summer.
I love my wine.
It is summer. Go outside, drink some white wine, sit on the balcony and just watch your Vampire Diaries through the window, and it counts. I can't see that happening from the sounds of that.
No.
For me, it is The Flight Attendant.
Okay.
8 episodes. Super fun. Well, not. I keep saying super fun. Like, I really enjoyed the show, but yeah, the themes aren't particularly fun. It's just
You just mean you enjoyed it.
It's just a really good show.
Okay.
So thank you for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. You can follow me on social media at JamieAppsMedia. You can follow Leah on Instagram at l.poulton. And we hit 1,000 plays over the holidays, which was really awesome to see.
Woohoo!
On to the next lot. What's our next target going to be?
I don't know. I'm not good with numbers, but more.
Definitely more. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine Jam Zine over on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the Jam publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Courtney Paulson, Tracy Apps.